Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vickey.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why does my partner hate every way that I am different from them?
It's not funny. That is so
It is
sad.
funny.
It's not.
Why is it funny to you? I know I think it's funny as well. Why is it funny to you?
Who's the same?
Because why?
Who's the same?
Who's
I mean,
the
like,
same?
who's the
Oh.
Right? It's like, why do you hate that, I am who I am? And you
Why
are
do
who
we hate
you
that
are.
the wind is blowing
That's what I
today?
mean. That is not funny.
It is funny. Why is it not funny?
It's so sad. So if I think something is that sad, why do I laugh? Like there's a weird disconnect for me.
Oh, probably because sadness is really hard for you to tolerate. Are we psychoanalyzing you right now?
We
or-
could, but it's really not. Like I can deal with can handle sadness.
Wait,
but like,
no, I have an idea. I have an
weird.
idea.
Uh-oh.
Is hatred of you hard to handle?
Hatred of yes.
Okay, that's why.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's not about the difference. It's about the hatred.
It's about the hatred.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Hatred, period, I can't deal with. And no, if you hate me, oh no, I shatter.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
giggling at the difference.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. See, I told you there was something going on with it.
I'm giggling
So
at
thank
putting
you.
them together.
Wait,
I love this idea that somehow, okay, there's a fantasy, I think, that underlies this behavior. That somehow my rage, my fire would be grand enough to change the things I do not like. That somehow,
presumptuous.
if I hate it enough, you will come and be more like me. And then I don't have to deal with the fact that we have to have differences. I just love them going together. I think it's adorable.
I love that. And if that were truly you, I might think that you had a little grandiosity on board.
I would have a little grandiosity on board if that were me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's some magical thinking going on there.
Massively
Yeah.
magical thinking.
But you know what? I want to be clear about this. It's probably subconscious magical thinking, right? So this is not something, no one would think this consciously. It's more like, why isn't my hatred enough to change this?
Well, I'm
As
thinking
if it ought to have been.
I'm thinking
That's
like
the secret subconscious magic.
Yeah.
Right?
for all out there listening who have more than one child, you've seen this playing out with your children. Why are they different than me? Why don't they do it the way it is such a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't
Yeah.
understand why they're different. Like that is part of humanity. And it's part of
Mhm.
why we have wars. It's part of why we have political differences. It's part of what's going on. I'm just noticing your faces.
Because I'm just realizing it's why I want to rip Gabe's face off sometimes. Is because
So
he's
you hate it when
different.
he's different. Oh, this is brilliant. Tell us, Vicky. Why do you hate it when your partner is different than you?
Okay, this is the real answer, but this is not the healthy answer. Because my way is the right way and I'm perfect.
Awesome. I love owning that. See, it's grandiosity is underneath this. I swear every time.
Oh yeah. I'm
trying to imagine a scenario where grandiosity would not be underneath this.
It's the grandiosity is underneath this in this scenario.
Yeah, I think so.
But there's another way about it.
That's why you were giggling.
That's
it's
partly
you
why I'm giggling.
recognize yourself.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my God.
I recognize my relationship in it, right? Because my partner will walk in the room. I love you, James. He'll walk in the room and he'll say like, don't do that, do this, right? Or fix something I'm doing. But he makes it with these like little humorous digs and he doesn't really expect that I'm going to listen to all of it. And if I brush him away, it's okay. And,
yes.
Right. Like there's
Gabe
something
does that.
that's way more vulnerable about it. Right. He's not like stuck in the mud about it.
Yeah.
Right. Because if he was stuck in the mud about it, then I'd feel that hatred there. But there's another way of managing our differences without the hate.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I talk about the underlying problem?
The grandiosity?
So no. But that is an underlying problem. We'll swing back to that. No, this is the thing is that when you're very first on this earth, what you know of connection is same as.
Like as
Say
an
more.
infant.
Yeah, like as an infant.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm dropping into for geeks who care. I'm dropping into Edtronics research out of Harvard. It's a study that's been done repeatedly since the 70s, and his research is a huge, vast library of different studies. But one of the things he figured out early on was that the infant mother pair interacts with each other, and that when they are having a same as experience, the infant is registering all of the physiology that we would associate with connection. Regulation, regulated breathing, matching breath and heart rate stuff, all that sort of stuff. So same as equals connection, not same as equals disconnection, recognition, and going back into same as equals repair. So what I want to say is the vulnerable part of what I think we're talking about when we say this question. Sometimes we are leaning into that early history, particularly with our romantic partners. We do it more than we would with anybody else on the planet. And we would say, if you're different, I can't be connected to you because same as equals connection. So of course I hate it when you're different than me, because what that means is I can't connect with you. I can't feel connected to you. Now, is that actually true in our adult bodies? Of course not. But does it feel true? Achingly in our bones? Yeah.
And that's why I said this was sad. Because that's so sad when you say it like that.
Also really human.
Yeah, really human.
Yeah. So sometimes the hate is coming out as grandiosity and control. It is, by the way, grandiosity and control. But it's coming because there's probably a loneliness underneath it. So if my partner hates a difference, what I'm going to do with that, if I can lean in with vulnerability,
grieve.
Well, no, if I'm really, really good, what I'm going to do is try to undo his loneliness.
And how are you going to do that?
By connecting with him without acquiescing to changing me.
And how are you going to do that?
Well, it depends. Like my partner is my partner, right? So I might give him a hug because he likes physical touch.
Yep. Okay.
Or I might, physical touch is a big one for him. So I might pat his butt or touch him on the arm. Or I might wink at him and say, I know I'm so insanely different. But it's a connection moment. Like, Or I might make another little joke like, oh, don't I just drive you crazy? How do you even stay married to me?
That's how you do that, though.
What
So
strikes me
those
there,
are those are modes of connection, right?
right. And what
Yeah.
strikes me there is all of those examples that you just offered up, Jules.
Mm-hmm.
All of them involve noticing that your partner is in the space of loneliness, which is also
I'm guessing.
Right.
He didn't say that out loud, right? So
right.
it's a
In your
guess.
head.
I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
you could
Yeah.
totally be wrong, but it's you're noticing the mismatch in that moment, right? And so part of noticing the mismatch is also noticing how is this being tolerated? Is it okay? And is there maybe some grief here? I'm coming back to the grief again, because here's the reason I keep coming back to the grief. Not only is it vulnerable and it opens us up to understanding and being more curious about each other, but grief is also an amazing connector.
If you haven't seen it, go look at Inside Out. I think they did a great job of talking about this. She goes into upset over the hockey game, and what happens? Her whole team comes around her and her parents hug her. And it's when she's really lonely, she moves into grief to come back together with them. Yeah.
Right.
It's also when I can let myself grieve how do I say this? The parts that other husbands have that Gabe doesn't, that I wish he did. And when I could just grieve that, even if he's not in the room, I'm already more connected to him because I'm more accepting of who he is, and less fighting of who he isn't.
I'm still tracking what you're doing there.
I can use names.
What other has no, it's okay. I'm just tracking it. That's all.
Well, like more of an example, like he doesn't cook the way James does, something like that. And so I can, and when I acknowledge, oh, I really wish he cooked like James does, then I grieve that. And again, even if he's not in the room, I'm already feeling more connected to him because I'm not like battling in my own head of like, why doesn't he cook the way James does? I can let that part go. And okay. And here, like the last thing, the relationship reckoning, everything else I'm getting is worth it. So I grieve that and I'm more connected to him, whether without his presence in the moment.
Yeah, gotcha.
What about when he's different from you rather than different from somebody else?
Well, this episode's been really good for me because I'm realizing that's one of our biggest issues is his sarcasm. And why is his sarcasm an issue? Because I'm not sarcastic. So why aren't you more like me and stop doing it? And I actually disagree with people. Like, I don't think it would be boring if he was more like me. People are like, we don't want the world to be like us. No, I really do. I wish that everyone was more like me.
It would actually make your world easier.
It really would.
Let's be clear.
It really would.
And also you're right about everything and every way of being. And so then the world would be more perfect.
It
right?
really would. Yes.
Am I getting it yet?
Yes. You're talking very well to my protective brain. But it's understanding that frustration is about our difference will help me move to a place of it's okay to be different.
It is. Because here's the thing an adult can do is we can move into connection without same as.
Yeah.
We actually do not have to have same as to have the connection. You do not have to have same as to undo the loneliness. So rather than hating that your partner is different than you could move into accepting that they're different than you, grieving that they're different than you, celebrating that they're different than you, letting their differences be a curiosity that helps you turn into your own growth, whatever you'd like. But it doesn't have to be a sign of disconnection, right? Even though young parts of you and those early connection maps will actually read it as not connection.
I was just going to say, isn't it a sign of disconnection? But it doesn't have to be disconnection forever. Well, like it could be disconnection in that moment, and you can still work through it.
It is.
Going back to something from before we started recording, it's about object permanence.
Tell the people at home what you mean when you say object permanence, Rebecca.
It's about knowing that something exists, even when it's not in front of you. Like when we record these episodes and we put them out for 20 weeks, once a week, And then we go away for a while.
Mhm.
We still exist.
Mhm.
And then we'll come back out with another season, right? But like, we still exist even when we're not directly like dropping new episodes in your newsfeed.
Mhm.
We're still 3 humans who are walking around in the world.
Mhm.
And when you're this little infant, part of the reason you need that same as, you need that oneness, is because you don't have that knowing yet. That if something's not directly in front of you, it continues to exist. This is why we play peekaboo.
I was just going to say that. This is why they get so excited when they see the face, because they don't realize yet. Well, I don't know what age they start to, but that when the hands go there, the face is gone and then the face comes back.
That's right. And so this, a lot of being able to navigate these differences has to do with this idea that like we can still be connected. Right? Even when we see the world really differently. That is part of this object permanence. Our connection is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I would say, well, right? Because actually in like big T truth reality, you can be connected through differences. So I would say the difference itself did not make the disconnection, but the disconnection was something you were experiencing in that moment because for whatever reason, in that second, implicit threads of your own attachment history and same as and all that stuff we've been talking about were pulled up into your more conscious awareness, though you probably don't realize it's a memory that you're living from in that moment. And then you're stirred, right? So the disconnection didn't come from only what was happening between you, but what was happening between you plus what was happening in you. Right. But it wasn't the difference itself that made the disconnection.
Right.
So that's why I said, because I like to keep it complex. You know me, I don't have simple answers other than it's hard. Is always true. And that is my simple answer. Well, it's hard and it's probably about grief. There's my simple answer.
And just to kind of make space for that, I think that the more things start making sense, the more coherent they become, the more complex they become. Right? In order to really make sense of it, we have to add all the layers. There's not just a one same as all the time. There's a, this is me and this is you. And we have different realities and different experiences and we are different. Yeah.
Yeah. So connect through your differences.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Know each other best you can.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our boot camp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.